Today we're going to start with the mainspring, getting that installed in the barrel, and we're going to do that with a mainspring winder. And it's just a device that allows you to put the spring onto that arbor right there. That little tooth is going to grab the slot, and we're going to wind it into the interior bore of this, and then pushing on the end pops that right out. These are available new or used. I bought this set used on eBay. They're not cheap, but they're worth every penny, especially with a heavy duty spring like this. The orientation of this spring was such that it'll go in like that. There's a round tapered end that allows that to slip on there very easily, and you just push it down till you can engage the slot with that pin, basically taking place of the winding arbor. And let's see, I like to just grab onto it with tweezers to get it over that pin. Come on. Alright, are we on yet? Not yet. These springs are very strong, very tight. They're going to require a little bit of effort to get things started. Okay, now we have that engaged on that pin. Let's come around this way, and you can see how the spring is just hanging on there like so. Anytime I mess around with one of these, the handle part's aluminum and you're working with a steel spring, you might get some fragments coming off. I'll take a blower and blow it off, get everything nice and clean, and it's just a matter of putting these two together. And the knurled knob allows you to grip that arbor, and I like to turn it and then grip it with my left hand and then come around like so. That allows you to wind that spring into that cavity. We're basically replacing the barrel with that cavity on the tool. And it's going to get tight. You're going to wind this up, and you're going to feel some tension. It's amazing how much tension these springs are under, especially a Swiss one. Okay, we're getting toward the end. There's our split end to the mainspring. And we're going to wind this all the way in. See if we can capture this. We're winding in. And it's inside. And then I let go of this gently. Everything is captured inside of that tool. And then I back it up a little bit at a time to release that pin. And you'll feel it pop. You'll feel it come out. And then I'll take tweezers, kind of work the knurled knob out while keeping the spring inside the bore. Kind of tough to show this close on a video on this microscope, but there's that little pin that's engaging that slot. And it comes out. So there you have the mainspring is captured inside there. Of course, my computer's not keeping up. There's our main spring. It's all wound up, ready to go. There's a lot of potential energy in there. I'll take the blower, blow out any dust that may have come in. And because this is a slip spring, there's no engagement on the barrel. You really don't have to engage anything. It's just, it slips in there, so you can just pop it right in. I have braking grease on the inside there. There's that gray looking braking grease and a little couple spots of light grease, oil, whatever you want to call that, on that side. In the bore, right in here, the bore, I put D5 lubricant, and it's just a matter of, we're going to push it in and then push that button down, and it will push that spring out of the bottom of the tool, and then it'll snap right into the barrel. So there you go. It fits inside that barrel. So I'm going to hold down on the tool, and at the same time with my top finger push, and there it is. It pops out, jumps right in. It's a slick little setup. Trying to wind one of these manually, especially a Swiss spring, it's pretty tough. It's a lot of work. I've done it when I didn't have a winder, but buying that winder definitely saves the spring, saves the barrel, keeps you from getting frustrated because they can be a bugger. If you notice, I have the barrel set on a plastic movement holder. That's always nice because it makes it a lot easier to handle. With the plastic jaws, you can lean on that pretty good, get it tight, and it doesn't damage anything. So here's the Arbor. I'm going to put a little schmutz in there, and by schmutz I mean grease, some light grease, just a touch on the inside where that pin is going to engage. We just do a schmutz smear right there. I just drop that in and take the wider part of the tweezers, right there, the wider part, and grip that, and then pop it in. And that's all there is to it. Now, we want to make sure that pin is engaged, so I will grip the Arbor and then rotate the movement holder. I'll grip on and then see that it is engaged. And if you take a loop to it, look straight down on that, you can see, I can do that here, you can see how well that's engaged. Everything's nice and slick, fit right in there. Of all the tools that you should have, being an amateur, hobbyist, pro, obviously pro, a watch, mainspring winder, they're wonderful. Start looking on eBay. They do come up all the time. They might run you 100, 150 for a used vintage set that might have some wear on it. But I've managed to grab 2 sets only because my other watches have some really tiny barrels, like the Slava has a twin barrel, and I think they're 5 or 6 millimeter. And here's the other side of the cap. I guess you would call it a cap. I got a couple of smears of grease right there, some very light oil, and I just lay that in there. There are devices you can buy that will snap that on for you. I haven't found the need for one yet. Nothing that your fingers can't do. They do fit nicely, and I just run around, give it a squeeze, and they fit in there beautifully. Is that unorthodox? If you're talking to a pro, yeah, sure, everything's unorthodox when you're talking to them, unless you're doing it their way with their tools and their methods. But I'm poor and I live in America, not Switzerland. And there you have it. The barrel is complete. It's nice and slick. Nice little package right there. And there's 10 minutes on just the mainspring and installation.